his 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 opinion on black women is like, you know, because he had some bad experiences. You know, me and him, we were debating between each other. You know, and I agree with some of the things he said, and I disagree with some of the things he said. But he wasn't having it as far as me you know, when I agree, he was like, yeah, yeah. When disagreeing, he wasn't. So he wasn't having. So we just came to you know, uh, uh, how you say it? We just came to not so much understanding, but we just agreed to disagree. You know what I'm saying? So, um, um, black women's come a long way in this country, you know, and unfortunately, we haven't, as black men, been able to protect them. Like all men in different cultures, in different parts, in different lands of the world, had the responsibility and had the you know, that obligation to protect their women, you know, and they did, you know, via war, whatever. Um, in this land, you know, we, you know, basically castrated, and not literally, but you know, as far as black men, you know, we fight and stuff like that, you know, for our rights and stuff. But you know, the European mentality, the European dominance in this part of the land, in this part of the world, overwhelms our particular ability to protect our women like we should be able to, you know, and our women see that, you know, and that's what falls in, like when the European, you know, gives them, you know, the opportunity to work for themselves, to have this, to have careers and this and that. You know, some of our black women get caught up in that, and their minds get big, their heads get big, and you know, they look at the white man as daddy, you know, and I'm just talking about those type of mentality of black women, you know. They savior, you know, because the first thing that, you know, if they're with a black man in a relationship in a household, you know, and they get into a disagreement, stuff like that. And I'm not talking about a physical, I'm talking about verbal disagreement and stuff like that, you know, and they're just yelling at this, that, and the other. And the black woman want the, you know, that man out of the house. What'd she do? She go call her savior. She calls the police. And in most cases, the police and majority of the police force in this country are white, you know? So this is her way of straightening out the black man, getting him right, or get him out. And these are the type of women that I have my particular family member that doesn't, that, you know, his opinion on black women, these are the type of black women that he's mostly referring to. But what he does, he blankets all black women that way, of being that way. And that's where my disagreement come in at with him. And we just had, you know, we're going back and forth with this particular disagreement when it, you know, concerning that. But I think that black women, for the most part, support their men. I hope the ones that do support, y'all are the ones out there that support your man. You know, I give y'all 2 thumbs up. But don't be a rug. Don't be a doormat to any man. If a man is not doing what he's supposed to be doing, you know what I'm saying? If he's flim-flamming, if he's like, you know, making false promises and stuff, if his actions not speaking louder than his words, then he's soft. He's not the, you know what I'm saying? Because a man leads. You know what I'm saying? And a man is all about his word. A black man. I'm particularly talking about black men. I'm not talking about any other nationality of men. I'm talking about black men, because I can only speak from my own experience as a black man. You know, and how I feel and what I see. I know black men, just like black women know black women. You know what I'm saying? So I don't be a doormat. You know, if he keep coming back and all that stuff, and then y'all breaking up, he keep coming back, and then your life is just spinning. You if you're like a daggone hamster in a cage on that spin wheel, you know, and just keep, you know, and you're not going anywhere. Next thing you know, you turn around in your life, you be like, you be an old person, and your life is just going by you, and then you be on the I wish I could have tip, you know, not tip but note, you know, you be hemming and hawing about that with that, using that as an excuse, not an excuse, but you know what I'm saying, you know, woe is me, sort of type thing. But I think y'all precious, and unfortunately, in the past, you know, our women has nothing to measure themselves by. When my daughter was young, and I'm gonna tell you, prove an example, because my mom and my aunts and all them was from that particular cultural conditioning generation. When my daughter was young, and never forget that, when my daughter was young, I was taking her through the store. You know, it was a store like a Walmart and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? But they didn't have Walmarts out back then. You know, I mean, they were out back then, but they weren't in our part of the country. And I wanted to get my daughter a doll. It was me and my mom, and we walked up, and, you know, my mom, I was like, my mom grabbed the doll. She grabbed the white doll. And she said, oh, this is so cute, you know. I want to get them. I said, Mom, I don't want her to have that. She was like, why? No, that's cute. I said, Mom, I don't want her to have that. And my mother looked at me like, strange, like, why? It's a cute doll. I said, Mom, the reason why I don't want her to have that, because she has nothing to identify herself with having that doll. How can she identify anything with that doll? I said, I want to get her this doll. So I picked up a little chocolate doll. And I'm going to tell you something. Do you know there was a white lady in the same aisle, in the toy aisle? She was standing like maybe 12, not that far, but 10 feet away from us. And I saw her out of my peripheral. And you know, I turned to look at her. When I looked at that white lady, you know what that white lady did? She nodded her head like she in agreement with me. Yes, she did. She knew what I was talking about, and she agreed what I was saying to my mom. But my mom didn't mean no harm. You know? But what I'm saying is, even white people notice, they recognize this. They notice. They're not going to go out and buy their children little black dolls, because their child can't identify themselves with that doll. Now, if you have an array of dolls, you buy a black doll, Asian doll, this, that, and the other, that's something, you know, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I just know that back then, there were just 2 dolls in America. They were selling in toy stores. Black dolls and white dolls. And this was like in the 80s. Seriously. You know, now they got a whole combination of all these different type dolls. But anyway, I'm just saying, getting back to that, you know, my mom, she didn't mean no harm, because that's the generation she came from, you know. All of them were like that. My aunts, all of them, you know. But unfortunately, our women, you know, the standard of beauty was measured by white women in this country. You know, I remember seeing this picture of my aunt, man. You know, she put on this mascara, some kind of stuff on her face. And my aunt was like, you know, she was like a brown skin, like a dark brown skin. And in that picture, she looked like a ghost. Because they weren't making makeup for women back then. Black, of darker complexion, only white. And, you know, our people who so mentally